Welcome. Are you ready to witness something fast, something with great handling, a big engine, and the epitome of early 90s racing and speed? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, this is going to be anything but that. This little 1993 Plymouth Sundance only has 50,000 miles on it. I'm the second owner. I paid $2,300 for it, and it's in immaculate condition. I drive it every day, and I've owned it since early October 2018. Now, to get all the fairly meaningless specs and statistics out of the way, since most of it is very off within the 20 some odd years this car's been around, I'm sure it's lost a little bit of horsepower and various other aspects of its performance over time. The Sundance was Plymouth's attempt to compete with the iconic Honda Civic and Toyotas of the same era. It was supposed to replace the Omni and the Horizon from 1987. In 1993, you could buy them brand new between $7,600 for the Sundance America version, which is its baseline, most bare bones, unequipped package that you could buy, and it went all the way up to well over 12 grand. There was various versions of the Sundance in the shadows with higher end packages than what you'll see on my vehicle. I'm fairly sure they even made a Shelby version. If I can find a picture, I'll throw it on screen. It has a 2.2 liter, 8 valve, 4-cylinder Chrysler engine. Extremely reliable. Hold up. I gotta rephrase that. It's somewhat reliable, at least until about 50,000 miles. The things are notorious for the water pumps going out about every 50k, and to replace it doesn't cost much part-wise, but it is very labor-intensive, and the cost could rack up to over a few $100 because the engine needs picked up off 2 of the mounts just to be able to fit a new water pump up in there. Other than that, the car has no serious gremlins. I will say, thank God, when I bought the car, it had a 1,000-mile or 30-day warranty. Within the first week, my water pump went out, and it was gone for about a week and a half, but the place I bought it from replaced it free of charge, because it was still under warranty. It gets about 28 mpg city and 31 highway, due to the lightweight and its small engine. I'd say mine still gets about that, and if I'm easy on the pedal, it's really good on gas. I already fill my tank up once every paycheck. It's a great car for someone starting to get into wrenching, or someone that wants to do their own basic maintenance and don't want to take their car to places like Jiffy Lube. All the basic maintenance access points to the vehicle are very easy to reach, and it's probably one of the easiest cars I've ever done an oil change on. Off the lot, it would do 0 to 60 in about 11.26 seconds. Mine will do it in about 13. The front end has a fairly bad vibration just from poor design. It lacks a balance shaft from the factory, especially when you put it into reverse. It does this. It doesn't do it at all when you're driving, going down the road. It's smooth. But sometimes when you're idling in drive or you're reversing, it'll vibrate real bad. But other than that, it has a fairly smooth ride. Especially in wet conditions due to the light weight and it being front wheel drive, it understeers mildly into corners. But however, the brakes aren't half bad. It has great assisted discs in the front and drums in the rear that stop on a dime for a car from that era. But you need to keep in mind that they are drums in the rear, and especially large downhill slopes, they may overheat and start locking up as they get hot. But for them to get to that point, it would take an hour or two of some fairly hard driving. The front seats are thick, padded, and supportive. They're fairly comfortable for a car of that age. The ride in the rear feels a little more stiff though, and it's a bit more of a tighter squeeze. However, I would like to address my radio. It was completely working, nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, I'm a 20-something-year-old millennial piece of shit, so I needed to remove it. I placed the radio in the trunk, got a $25 generic Bluetooth radio from Walmart, slapped that in there, and I still haven't gotten around to ordering the plate that I can put in there to make it properly fit. And same with my speakers, they're kind of just sat tucked away on the floor under the seats and up under the dash. I've yet to get around to saving up to put the proper size speakers in the doors and in the rear. But the driver's side door, the speaker still works in that one. Other than that, there isn't many issues with my interior other than a small snapped off piece of my sun visor that my little brother did. Thank you. But yeah, it just has some slight general wear and tear, nothing serious. The interior is rattle free unlike other cars of its age. I'm looking at you, Jeep Cherokee. It has a solid piece dash, unlike the other more common multi-piece assembly dashes. Be it I am talking about interior rattle. The drivetrain does rattle whenever I shift into reverse and shit, like I mentioned. And it does have one airbag in the steering wheel, and that was fairly rare for Chrysler cars in the early 90s. It has large, basic, easy-to-read gauges and controls, and it has no tachometer. It has a rear defroster that works perfectly. It's placed right above the radio. It just has a simple on and off button with a light acknowledging that it's on. And whenever you shift your gears, if you're driving and you put it into park, it shuts it off, and if you're in park and you put it into drive, it shuts it off as well. I have one terribly shaped cup holder. You have to like shove your wallet and your phone to have the whatever drink you're trying to hold stay in there because of how wide the top of it is. And if you open up the cigarette tray, it works as a cup holder. It has a big roomy hatchback that you can fill 2 carts of groceries into. But my actuators are worn. They stay up when they want to. And I just think the Plymouth Sundance is one of the staples of early 90s economy cars. The thing is amazing on gas. It's still up to par with some of the new cars of today with its mile per gallon ratio. I've only had this car for a few months, but I think it's a great little thing. Altogether, what I think I'm trying to say with this video is that for a car that came out in the era where Bill Clinton did not have sex with that woman, Jurassic Park was the biggest hit in theaters, and the people that were old enough to remember this car when it was new back then more than likely forgot about it. It's held up well, it's withstanding the test of time, be it doesn't have much power, but it's a great reliable staple of what 90s economy cars were. I hope you all have enjoyed my review. I've put a lot of effort into this, and I plan on doing a lot more in the future. If you live in Western Maryland or the surrounding areas, please send me a DM on Twitter or send me an email at oddcastpodcast69xd@gmail.com, and maybe I could feature your car in one of my videos. Like I said, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.